Back on the channel today. I know I'm skipping around a little bit. I was working on wiring in the relays and the circuit breakers for the electric fan. And then midway, I said, you know what? Let me throw these Wilwood brakes on. Your shop's probably like my shop. You got a lot of stuff laying around, and I just recently moved in, so I want to get rid of some of these big boxes so I can free up some space. And this was a perfect opportunity. So I started with the left side, 69 Roadrunner. A lot of Mopar people are familiar with left hand and right hand threads. Well, this one suffered that. It's got a Dana Ray in the back, and I changed the lugs, the studs, to right hand studs in the back, but the front I hadn't gotten to was still disc drum brakes. But as you can see, I put the disc brakes on, and I didn't capture anything. I wasn't in the mood, but today is a good day because I'm going to install it on the right side, and I'm going to capture it on film. So stand by. We're going to get through this together. One thing I want to note is a lot of people were complaining about the brake line that you had to use. Wilwood wants you to go to, let me get something so you can hear. Wilwood wants you to go with a stainless steel brake line and not to use the rubber line anymore. All right, I'll get it together. It's early on a Sunday. So what I did some research, and they were complaining. I believe the line that their kit calls for is an 18-inch steel braided line. And I found one person saying, use the GM. I believe this line is for the Camaro. I believe in the 60, 68, 69 Camaro. And the reason why they did that, this is a 14-inch brake line. Should be a tighter fit, stainless steel. And you won't have that extra just flopping about. So I did a pre-test, and fits up in the Mopar. I'll get you a part number for that in a minute. But for those that's not familiar, when you get the kit, it'll come with this adapter. There you go. When you take the rubber line off, it comes with this adapter, and your factory brake line, it'll screw right into it, and then you just go on and put your fitting on. I ordered some 90s, and you'll see that when I get to mounting the caliper, opposed to having it come straight out. So let me get you the kit number for the 14-inch brake line that will fit the Mopar, and it is part number 2207056. And that is a 14-inch 3/8 24 thread to 90 degree kit, so you won't have to complain about the 18-inch brake line that comes as an extra for the Mopar. So let me put this camera on the stand, and we're gonna get to it. Stand by. All right, so the kit came complete, but of course I dug into it. So it's gonna come with caliper bolts, adapters, wheel bearings, the spacer, washer, actually, the shims for the damn, I'm not getting any of that. The shims for the caliper, so you can center it. It comes with lugs, backing plate, brakes, comes complete. So like I said, I started already. That's why the table is a wreck. And there's the other disc. So let's get to this right side brakes install. I'm gonna have to apologize up front. I can't get my rhythm together at all today. We are gonna get through this, and it's not a bad install. It's pretty straightforward, quick if you're familiar with brakes. So let's get the feel off. just in case I got an issue with lugs later. Put those right here. No, it came from this side. In case you're wondering, my surgery's coming along well. My stitches are healing. So I'm going to push the envelope every day. I'm doing a bit more. Work around the house and in the shop. Let's get some light going on in here. I broke my LED drop light the other day, and I didn't feel like waiting for Harbor Freight to open up, so we're gonna go with this antiquated light. All right, so let's get this drum off. Start by getting this cover off. Okay. Next, you want to remove your cotter pin. Just keeping the nut on. Let's see what kind of contraption I got over here. The kit is new and it comes with mostly everything you need, but you will have to reuse some things from your old brakes, so just be careful when you're doing this. Not to discard everything, just try to keep everything in one area. Makes it easier. I kind of hate messes, so let's get yeah. Need to keep a rag. Pull your drum off a little. I like to do that so I can get to the bearing. All right, drum comes off. Well, somebody went in there and put some brakes on this puppy. All right, so let me get the camera off the stand. What happens now, and we're gonna save some steps and not disassemble everything. We're just gonna take off what's necessary. So from this point, I'm gonna crack the nut. I'm gonna crack the nut from here and separate the brake line, the hard line from the rubber line. And then these 4 bolts come off. 2 upper, 2 lower. And then I'll be able to remove the whole drum as an assembly with the brake still attached. All right. Try to get you the best position so you can see what's going on in case you attempt to tackle this project yourself. We see what's going on, so you're gonna have to start doing a lot of repairs yourself and save some money. Don't be afraid. You don't need a lift to do it. Just I'm older and been working on cars forever, so I had to get a lift. All right, 5/8 in the front to keep it from spinning. Make sure I got the right size in the back. And you may find you have to get access to the bolts, you're gonna have to turn your steering to the left and to the right. I purposely left all the tools out that I was gonna need for this job out, so I can just get to the other side. So. Get that. Remember what I said? Keep all your bolts together because you are going to need one of these. And I'll show you which one you're going to need. You know what? Let me knock out one side at a time. The first bolt was a 5/8. This is a 15/16. Get the angle just right. There we go. I gotta pick that one has a cotter pin on it. Let me get that cotter pin out of there. There it goes. That bolt had a cotter pin keeping the nut from backing out. So you just have to take the cotter pin off first. Okay. Turn it so you can get access to the back of those nuts. Let it do. Let's take the cotter pin out here. Going back with the 15/16. May have to get an extension. Get an extension. What we're gonna do is switch back to the 5/8, get that top bolt off. I'm gonna crack the brake line when I'm done. Next thing I'm gonna do, crack the brake line so I can get the drum off as a whole. For that, please use a flared wrench so you don't strip out the I like to just give it a smack, loosen it up. And that's a 3/8. Let me get my pen in case. I think all my brake fluid dripped out from the left side. But just in case. That didn't hurt. Try not to make a mess. If you can. Yeah, it's a sketch. But the other light had a magnetic base. And I think when I was bleeding the rear brakes on that Coronet, it felt like 3 times the light. That third full took it right out. Hopefully you can see him taking off the brake line. Yeah, all the fluid dripped out, which is good. Now you got to remove the clip that keeps the brake line from moving around. Alright, the little U-clip holds that line in place. The U-clip is off. Keep that on your table of tools. Pull factory line down. And if this fights me, I'm just gonna have to. Good catch. And this is what breaks these drop lights. They don't survive falls. But we're gonna have to power through. Sounds like a good place to put this damn thing. Let's see if she comes off. If not, I have to break it loose. So what I do, I try to get them to spin. That loosens them up. Okay, let's get one on that 5/8, get that to spin, and I'll come behind it and tap it out with a hammer. Don't damage the threads. There you go. There you go. There you go. That loosened them up fine. If not, get the old act right. Get the 5-pound act right. Come on. I should have done it. I know which one's holding it. What you're gonna want to do so it don't fight you, because when you take out this bolt, the spindle's gonna fall. I have to raise the caulk a bit. Let me raise the caulk 1 notch. What you want to do is just get something to support underneath the spindle, because the front part of it is going to drop when you take that nut out. And that's what's fighting me. Okay. I don't get my hat too dirty. The other side didn't fight me this bad. Probably this time. Be patient, it's gonna fight you. I know what's gonna happen. I take this, it's definitely gonna drop a little. Here we go. Drum off. All right, so what you want to do is prepare your surface for the install. Well, I sure wish I had a better lighting situation going on. Oh, so it was the back that had dropped that kept it. So I'm just gonna have to raise it up by hand. First thing you want to do is get your backing plate. I'm gonna get out of these gloves and put some latex on. Latex should work a little better. You wear the heavier gloves on the disassembly. You definitely don't want to hurt yourself. And what I should have done was prepared my bolts with red Loctite, but I did not. So I'll do that real quick. Let me find a pack of bolts. Here we go. Just give me a second, put some Loctite on this stuff. You want to use red Loctite on your bolts on this kit. Don't be shy. Lay it on. All right, let's get that. Time to tack up. And you want to position the brass bolts towards the rear of the car. Just keep in mind the orientation. Countersunk goes in first. Let me wipe that off a little bit. I see some people put anti-rust and all this other stuff, but the days of this car going outside in that kind of weather, as long as I own it, are over. But I will clean it up just a little. This part goes over the spindle. I'm gonna see if I can get this to seat without raising up the back with and I do believe I'm gonna have to get it. Yeah, this is where this jack comes in. This makes life easier. You get it underneath, lift it up, and then once you get the bolt inserted, you take it away. See, I hit it with my hand so you don't damage the threads. But a little tap ain't gonna hurt it. It's almost there. Okay. Next, you want to install your top bolts. Making sure you put a washer in front and back. So you get a washer, the front part, and you match the two holes up with the top. A washer in the back, and a nut. I'm just going to double check this. Okay, and get the other nut. Same thing on the other nut. Nut in the front. Line it up with the top. Nut and the bolt in the back. Alright, you can remove this jack stand now. You don't need it anymore. The nut in the back has no washer in the front, no washer in the back. This is the nut. Okay, and that is what holds the caliper on. Just want to tighten this down. Where's the ½ inch? What did I do with the ½ inch? Tools all over the place. Is it the ½ inch? It's the ½ inch right here. Follow the instructions on the torque specs. Five eighths, I doubt it. Let's see. It's 5/8. Okay. Turn this a little bit. We'll turn that a lot of bit. Let me double check this. I'm gonna go all up the threads. Oh, what am I doing? Foolish, foolish. When I tell you to save your bolts, it's because you have to put the one in the front back on. Good thing I look. You gotta put the bolt here. Zerk fit. There you go. All right, I'm gonna cut you off for the talking. You don't need to see that. Come back on. I'll be reassembling or assembling the Wilwood three-piece brake rotors. So stand by. All right, the part we're up to now is assembling the drum, and I am running out of battery power, so I don't think I'm going to cover much more or come just in and out, put charge on the batteries. But this particular kit came with two bolt patterns, 5x4 3/4 or 5x4 1/2. And as you people may or may not know, big B-body Mopar is 5x4 1/2. So scout it out. For me, it's the hole closest in this hub. And what I did do, I put some red thread locker on the what's the thread lock. I know I was right. And put it on the shoulder only. This is your wheel studs with your vehicle's lug nuts is going to go on. So you may not want that thread locker on that. You run it down. I'm going to put this in the vise and torque them down to the prescribed torque. I'm just going to run them down with the cordless ratchet. Alright, I'm just going to double check and sit it in the rim. I know it's right. Perfect. I'm going to sit this in the vise and torque it down. Come back on and assemble the rest of the rotor on camera. Alright, that was nothing special. Just showing my age, how I was taught many moons ago in school how to pack grease in a wheel bearing. Put a whole hunk in your hand, grab the bearing by the knuckle, take small dabs at it until you see the grease pour through the other side. So I think I'm gonna stop the camera and reposition it. Just follow the instructions on assembling this. You missed that while I was charging batteries. Nothing special there. Follow the instructions on torquing them down, the torque specs. Install your rear bearing seal. And we are going to pick back up once I reposition the camera. Installing the washer. Front bearing is greased. The nut, the castellated portion that goes on top of the nut, and we're going to seat the disc onto the spindle. Stand by me, reposition this camera. All right, during the editing, I may voice over when I was packing the front bearing. I didn't realize I didn't have the microphone on. It was still being charged. But for the most part, what I was saying is the way I pack bearings is old school, how I was taught in high school, which was Automotive High School in Brooklyn. How to pack wheel bearings. You just put a whole heap in your hand, grab the bearing by the knuckle, and you just take small bits out of the grease pile until you see the grease push through the bearing and come out through the other side. Then you slather it all around. But that was done. I don't know if what I said was on camera or not. So we are up to the point where we're going to put the front bearing is in, the rear bearing is in. We're going to put the washer, the keyed washer in. We're going to put the nut on. If somebody's knocking, it's open. We're going to seat the wheel bearing. And as soon as I find my socket, I'll walk you through that. But you guys may know that already. It's not really a how-to do brakes. It was really a conversion from drum to disc on a B-body Bopar. So you find your nut, tighten it down. Let me make sure my hands has little to no grease on it. I will spray brake clean on the rotors when I'm done. And what I like to do is spin the rotor as I'm tightening it. And what you're doing is seating the bearings. Make sure nothing is binding. Nice, and then I will back it off about 1/8. I seated the bearings, make sure I got no front, no play. Find my castellated nut, and you will see you may have to play with the nut spacer, not the spacer, the capsulated nut to give you access to the hole. You install your cotter pin. Maybe too big. Let me get a little smaller one. Drop your cotter pin through the hole. Get you a pair of pliers and spread it open. Ain't that purdy? That there right there, purdy. That right there, purdy. Get my Wilwood spin-on cap. The dust cap. Now the way they made this, you really can't get a wrench on that, so that's a hand tight deal. And now we're gonna play with rotor spacing. But what I think I'll do is, while I have a little bit of battery power, we're gonna set up the I'll spray this all down with brake clean. What we're gonna do, we are gonna grab one of the calipers and we're gonna set up a 90. I do believe I bought 90s because they come equipped with a straight fitting for the holes. Now, where are the 90s? That's a good question. They got my 90s. Okay, so let's wrap this up for the day. I don't believe I'm going to get around to bleeding them, so I have other things I have to do. I just wanted to come on in and knock out this. Yeah, let me put you back over here. Hang on, it's going to be a wild ride. I'll put you back over here. Make sure I got you on the table. Right, yeah. So what you're gonna do, what they recommend, is get you some liquid pipe thread tape. Don't use the tape. They want you to use the liquid. This was the 90 degree that I went to the mom and pop or the big box store, and that is to keep the stainless steel brake line, instead of trying to go straight in, you put it up at a 90, I'm thinking, to avoid the line from binding up with anything in the suspension. So they want you to use the liquid tape opposed to the regular tape. They don't want it getting in the lines. And what I'm doing is just making sure it's not in the opening. Alright, so we're going to take this 90 and screw it in the caliper. And I'll leave it hand tight for now because I don't know how that needs to be oriented. We're going to loosely do it and wrap this installation up. What I am looking for is, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the bolt kit to bolt the caliper to the vehicle. So you get your 2 bolts, your washers, and then you need these shims to make sure that I just want to see how, so 2 of those shims is the thickness of a washer. Because I kind of got the caliper centered on the other side, but not reading the instructions, I used the wrong washer for a shim. So I think I got it down packed now. And what we're going to do is I'll reposition the camera again, and we'll shim this on there and make sure that it's centered on the rotor before we drop in the brake shoes and connect the Well, I got a bunch of things to do. Not a lot. The adapter goes on so I can connect the stainless steel brake line to the car and have it made up with the rotor. I don't know, I might edit all of that out. Me moving the camera. I may not. I don't know. Here we go. It'll definitely be on the blooper reel. All right, so if we paid attention on how the first bracket was mounted to the vehicle, then you should know how this is mounted without me trying to get the camera in. So what I am going to do is I'm going to try to get the bolt on in a way that I can position the washers before and that's just what I thought was going to happen. Let me get two more because they gave me a bunch of them. You got to figure out a way to mount the caliper with the washers so you don't drop them. Maybe I'll come from the top first. That should be easiest. Wilwood, if you're listening, you got to come up with a better way to do this. This is truly the worst part of the install. This washer crap. Alright, that might be good. And what I'm gonna do is make sure it's centered. And that, my friend, looks pretty darn good. I'll get the other bolt, two more washers, and double check it. If that's the case, then I just have to run brake lines and bleed. I'm sure somebody's gonna say, why didn't you use bearing grease to keep them from moving? Yeah, I could have. I'd much rather complain. How about that? I admitted it. So let me just tighten that down. I do apologize. My battery went out and I didn't even know. I was talking and turned around, the camera was off. So I finally finished both sides. The only thing left is to bleed them. And I'm gonna keep my eye on this setup. I was happy that I didn't get the 18-inch. Everybody was complaining that it was too long. I believe this is the 14-inch that comes with the kit for Camaros. It's a 14-inch line. Right, my mistake. It's an 18-inch line that comes with this kit for the B-body Mopars. And I heard a few people complain that the line was too long. So I went with the 14-inch steel braided line that come with the Camaros. I believe the 60, 68, 69 Camaro. I used the 90 that came with the kit. Maybe I should have used the 45 degree, kick it out a little bit. I'm going to keep my eye on it. It's a little sus. But overall, not a bad conversion. If you got the tools, it should take about an hour-ish. Both sides are on. Like I said, the only thing left is the bleed. End up taking 3 shims to get the master cylinder, get the caliper centered. And there you go with the 14-inch Camaro line with a 90 in the back of the caliper. So like I said, I'm gonna keep my eye on it. If I get an inkling it ain't right, I'll either get the 18-inch steel braided line or I'll get a 45 degree out the caliper to kind of get a better angle on that line. It's a little abrupt, but that's it for now. Stay tuned.